Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. It is MariahFang. Today we're going to be talking about palm tattoos. If you haven't seen this before or haven't heard about this, this tattoo on my palm has been one of the most painful tattoos on my body, and pain-wise I don't recommend it, and there's a lot of other factors that come into play, but if you're very dedicated about learning more about palm tattoos, then you've come to the right place. And a little disclaimer first, although I do have knowledge about palm tattoos and I do have knowledge about tattooing in general, I please suggest you to talk to your own artist talking about palm tattoos, and then maybe talk to your doctor first before getting a tattoo, and also talk to your artist if this is the right thing or right path that you should be taking. So just a little disclaimer, I'm just saying this is all suggestive and from a personal experience, so nothing of a high professional, just of personal use and personal message to you guys. So, the number one question asked about this tattoo, does it hurt? It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. It feels like you're putting your hand on a burner, and I don't recommend it. Does it look cool? Yes. It looks amazing. Does it hurt a lot? Yes, when you get it done. Afterwards, not so much. The initial pain of like a searing hot iron on your hand, or like a mosquito bite that just won't stop. Can anyone get a palm tattoo? Not necessarily. I mean, yes and no, depending on the artist that you talk to. Those of you that have seen my arms, one does not have any tattoos because I'm saving this for an artist in particular that I want to get this done by and have a really neat design. And then I have this that has a cover-up and has been through the heller. Guess which one has the palm tattoo? This one does. This one does not. But here's the thing, most artists would want you to be mostly covered in tattoos before you do have a job stopper tattoo. Anything job stopper wise is mostly like from the wrist up, or anything showing, like if you were to be wearing a blue or white collar kind of shirt. I could be wrong on that, but most of the time if you're in the workforce, some jobs are okay with it, some jobs are not, depending on the work that you type. Depending on the work type that you do, some job places do have an issue with it, some people don't. I in particular have known a couple jobs where I've been hired where I don't have to worry about that because no one has to see me. And even if they do, it's more of a hi, bye, not so much you can see my tattoos. So think about your job in the future, probably like really consider, is this a tattoo that you really need to get right now, or is this something that you can wait till later? If you really feel like, oh my god, I need this tattoo, I need a palm tattoo, and you don't have any tattoos, artists might look at you a little bit funky and go, we don't know about that. And it's not because that they don't want you to get a palm tattoo, it's just it doesn't fit with the look, I guess you could say, that if you're a tattoo artist and someone comes into your shop and they don't have any tattoos but they want a palm tattoo, you have to think about the well-being of your client or the person that is getting the tattoo, such as yourself. You have to really make sure that if they get this tattoo, are they going to ruin their career, or are they going to ruin job-wise, are they going to have to worry about other people's impersonation, is that the word? Impression of them? I probably got that wrong. The impression of them, and like, are they okay with that? Because there's a lot of liability, just like if you were to get your eyeball tattooed. I know that's kind of different than a palm tattoo, but your eye has a different procedure to get tattooed compared to your palm. And I'm not an expert on getting your eye tattooed, I just know that they take like a syringe and it's not a fun experience. So having two different outlooks there, like yes, you're going to be shaking people's hands with a palm tattoo. Obviously if you had your eye tattooed, that's a whole different thing. That's why tattoo artists take into consideration whether or not you should get a palm tattoo or not, is because it depends on how are you going to live with that. Not so much of an easy answer, but it is something that a lot of people ask about, and something that I usually say is like, well, as much as I'd like to tattoo your palm today, it would probably have to wait until you have a little bit more tattoos, and if you're in a job that can sustain that, only because I'm looking out for your well-being, not because of, yes, you want this, you have the money, but I'd prefer not to tattoo on somebody that doesn't have any tattoos and they want a palm tattoo, because a palm tattoo is kind of a serious decision making. Something you should consider before getting a palm tattoo as well is what is your idea of what you want the tattoo to look like versus how it's actually going to look like. I will have a couple of pictures up here just showing you that this tattoo did not look exactly how it is today. The first part of it was done by me because I thought, oh, I'm just going to do this on myself and see the pain level of it. It was bad. Really bad, and I say that because there's two different methods to getting a palm tattoo. You can tattoo it blasting a line through like you do normally for tattooing, or you can tattoo it using dot work. Dot work is the best way to go because it'll last a lot longer compared to a line tattoo on your palm, unless you're getting it done by somebody that really, really, really knows their craft. It's just, there is going to be a lot of slight hurdles as a tattoo artist when you're tattooing palms. There's a little bit more trickery, and you really have to keep that hand flat, and as much as you want to curl your hand in because it hurts, try not to curl it in. Try to just keep it as flat as possible. Like, have them like tape your hand down is the best thing. I know it's silly, but it works. But most of the time they will just have your hands like stretched as much as they can, so that way you don't have to worry about the pain. The type of tattoo that I got with this, you see all these lines that are going around. This is actually a cover-up of some stuff that I had done, which you will see or probably have seen in one of the photos. The before was done by me, and the after was done by a very talented artist that has done my blackout, and I trust him a lot. He just knows what he's doing. He's very good at telling when I'm in pain and when to take breaks. With a palm tattoo, I feel like you just kind of have to go all in, and yes, you can take breaks, but it hurts a lot worse. I feel like it's more of a stinging and a burning sensation, and I'm not trying to detour you away from getting a palm tattoo. It can be done. If you do need breaks, probably like just do 1 or 2 sessions or try to break it up a little bit. I do know that the more finer lines that you have, the thinner the needle has to be and the deeper it has to go. Not too deep, but it's just the way that certain needles, like the needle depth of like a 3-liner, if you don't know what that is, it's basically just 3 little needles pinned together like a little triangle. It's super, super painful. Probably one of the most painful tattoos I've ever had on my body, besides my feet. Well, my foot. Maybe my throat and a little bit of my blackout. Like, the blackout wasn't too bad. It was not that bad, but maybe my throat and my hands were... my throat and my hand was like almost the worst part. When you get a tattoo on your hand, you have to think about aftercare and before care. So before care, you have to really make sure you don't have any caffeine in your system, because if you have caffeine in your body, your blood is a little bit, it's hard to describe this, but the way that I can say in easy context is that your blood basically is more closer towards the surface, or like your veins are closer towards the surface of your skin, compared to when you don't have caffeine. It's a little bit deeper and it's not as close to the surface, if that makes sense. Think of like hot, cold. If you have caffeine in your body, think of it as expanding, and it gets not hot, but it gets expanding, and you're going to feel a little bit more sensation, more that sensation of the caffeine. Hence with like the jitters, you don't want to have that happen. Otherwise, when you get the tattoo, the lines, you don't want to have them shaken up. You know, you don't want a bad tattoo. When you're cold without caffeine, your blood is a little bit deeper and you don't feel that sensation of caffeine in your body. Like, you don't feel the jittery or sensitivity, is the best way I could describe it. Make sure you keep your hands clean. I would not suggest getting both palm tattoos in the same day, only because, this is embarrassing, but like, if you're in the bathroom, and just be sanitary in the bathroom, okay? You don't want to have a fresh open palm tattoo and touch like the toilet seat, or like touch the flushing thing, or like the bidet or whatever. You don't want to be touching anything that is dirty. If you do, quickly wash your hands really well with soap and water. The soap, make sure it's not scented or like has any fragrance to it, because it's going to sting. And lukewarm water is going to be your best bet. I do not suggest taking any of the aftercare app. I don't know how to say this properly, but once you get your tattoo done and it's already like completed, like your artist says, all right, we're gonna wrap it up, make sure you have them like put a glove over the top, like wrap it in saran wrap after you get your ointment on from your artist and the saran wrap is over the top. Make sure you wear like a glove on top of that. The stuff that I had underneath was like a little medical pad, so underneath it, it was like a little black medical pad on top so it didn't get like dirty or anything, and then I had a glove on top. The glove helped for about an hour, and then once I had that on and I immediately got home, I took it off, I washed my hands really good, and I also made sure to pat every time with paper towels, because paper towels are going to keep it nice and clean. If you put your hands on a dirty towel, you're just going to get dirty again, and that's not good. It's not good at all. It's just going to get it dirty again. So I like to play it safe, be super clean, and make sure to always just wash as much as you can, but also keep it hydrated as much as you can. Don't put a glob of Aquaphor on or a glob of Vaseline or anything like that. The best thing that you want to do is actually get this kind of product, which I'll show you. Now, before I show you guys this, I'm not sponsored, so I'm not like sponsoring them at all. I don't make any money on this, but I love using the Hustle Butter Deluxe, and you can find this over at Ulta. They make a cannabis one that is $42, I think, or $45. It's a little bit more expensive than this. They do have trials, not trial sizes, like the smaller sizes, over in the travel section, so you can like get a smaller version of this. I think it's like $14 for a small one. This is like 20-ish. I used a lot of it, so like it smells really good too, and it's just got like a thicker consistency and it melts in your hands. Ironically, it melts in your palms too. So I'll take like a small amount and I'll use my knuckle to get most of it out instead of my fingernail, and just kind of like dab it right on top with a clean hand, and then just use the bottom of my palm to kind of like massage it in. But you really, really want to be careful about letting it dry and like making sure it's all soaked in. Just be really mindful of where you put your hands at, especially like door handles. Try not to touch them, especially if you get like your fingertips tattooed. Those are not fun. Just be really mindful about where you put your hands when you get tattooed. Palm tattoos and hands in general are just one of those funky things, and it's something that needs to be mindful of because it's an open wound, basically. The one thing about palm tattoos I want to like kind of fit in there to like really drain your brain is that it takes a little bit more effort and time and precision to get ink to stay in your hands or your palms. It's just, you work with your hands all day, you work either on the computer or you're fixing stuff or you're washing stuff, like it doesn't matter how busy your day was, you're always using your hands. Even if like you're washing your hair too, always be mindful that this is going to fade, it's not always going to look like this, and absolutely try to do your best with the aftercare, because that will ultimately like tell you whether or not the ink is going to stain your skin. Your artist should be very clear about how to keep that like steady, and of course there's going to be touch-ups as well, so immediately sign up for either a second session to just have it touched up a little bit, especially if you're getting color on your tattoo, or especially if you're getting color on your palms. I know that reds and blues tend to stay a little bit better, or any darker pigments in that spectrum. Like cooler tones usually stay pretty well. Warmer tones like yellows and oranges, not so much, only because it is lighter pigment, especially like lighter blues. That's going to be a little bit harder. Even like white ink can be a little bit painful, and it's usually hit or miss on your palms. I know in my own knuckles, like I had one for my snowflake, but just to try it out, give it some space. It worked for some of the little close little lines together. It's hard to see right here, but just giving you a general point that lines that are super small together, you can use white to kind of break it up a little bit more, which is nice. But for palms, I highly don't suggest it. Palms is not really suggested because it doesn't really stay in there. I personally don't have any white ink on my palm. I thought about it if I wanted to like separate this a little bit more, but it's already pretty good about like the spacing. Yeah, over time it's probably going to mesh together, but that's okay. I'm already accepted the fate that like tattoos are not meant to be perfect. They're meant to be an idea or an image that you have in mind, but not 100% spot on, because time eventually will chip away at it. And it's just with all structures of tattoos, even color on my skin, like this used to be super bright, but I have to get it redone. And it's only because I had years of the sun beating on it, especially even when I had sunscreen a little bit. Sometimes you just need a little bit more sunscreen, and sometimes you just have to go in for another session. All color tattoos will do that. They will eventually fade. But as long as you take care of your skin, you use a high SPF, you should be fine. But I'm not going to say it's 100% like this is proving worthy that it's going to be okay. Like, sometimes time happens, and time tends to eat away at all of us at some point. But for now, I'm just enjoying the journey and loving each and every tattoo that I have on my body. So if you really enjoyed this video and you think this helped quite a bit with your decision making for getting a palm tattoo, or what to think about in the future and how to take care of it, please let me know in the comments below. I didn't get everything about palm tattoos in here because it's such a big spectrum, especially with tattoos in general. There's just so much to learn, and in everything right nowadays too, we're still constantly learning. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you!